Dollar cost averaging versus buying the dip. Which investing strategy tends to work better for beginners in Singapore? I have made this mistake before. The emotional damage was way more painful than the financial damage. In this video, I'm diving into these two investing strategies. I'll show you a famous study where 5 investors each received $2,000 at the beginning of every year for 20 years. The results will surprise you. Plus, I will show you what I'm doing now and it changes everything. First up, dollar cost averaging, or DCA for short. Here's how it works. You invest a fixed amount every month, no matter what the market is doing. Think of it like your CPF contribution, except you're actually in control and you are not locked until you are age 65. Now, when the stock market shoots up and everyone is screaming, sell, 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 you keep investing. And when the market crashes, when people are selling and saying it is the end of the world, you still keep investing. So why does this work? Because you are averaging out your prices. When the stock market is expensive, your $500 buys fewer shares. When the market tanks and your relatives are telling you investing is a scam, your $500 buy more shares. The stock market is the only supermarket where everyone runs away during a sale. And here's the best part, you don't need to think, you just set it and forget it. DCA is popular amongst Singaporeans because of our busy lifestyle. You are already working 50 hours a week, rushing home to eat dinner, maybe catch up with your friends on weekends. Do you really have the time to analyze chart every day? No, you don't, and you shouldn't have to. DCA builds discipline and it removes emotion. And most importantly, it stops you from procrastinating. Because here's what I see all the time. People say, I will invest when I have more money. I wait for the right time. And then 10 years pass, they've got nothing except regrets. With a bunch of money sitting in your POSB saving account. Might as well just invest your money under your mattress, right? Now let's talk about the other strategy, buying the dip. This is where you keep your money on the sideline and wait for the market to drop before jumping in. You try to buy when the prices are lower and hoping to benefit when the market recovers. And repeat, the idea is that you hope to get better prices and higher long-term returns. It is like waiting for the Great Singapore Sale, except the sale date is random. You don't know how big the discount will be, and by the time you decide to buy, everything is sold out or back to full price. Here is the problem. When the dip is actually a dip, is it 5% down? 10%? What if it drops to 8% and you think, if it just dropped a little more, I can get 10%. So you wait. And then suddenly the market rebound and you miss everything. Or worse, what if it drops 10% and you finally invest? And then it drops another 15%. Now you're sitting there feeling like you got scammed. And you don't even have the cash to buy anymore. Here is the brutal truth. Even professional fund managers cannot time the market consistently. You know those people who went to universities, studied finance, get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, even they struggle with this. And here is something Singapore investors forget. We are buying with Singapore dollar. If you are investing in US stock like the S&P 500, do you know that you need to time 2 dips correctly? Yes, 2 dips. The first is the stock market dip. And the second is the currency dip. Let's say the US market drops 10%. Great, you buy. But wait, if the Singapore dollars weaken at the same time, you're actually paying more in Singapore dollar for those cheaper US stock. It is like trying to catch 2 falling knives at once. With dollar cost averaging, you're automatically averaging out both the market fluctuation and the currency fluctuations. The stock market tends to go up over time, so waiting for the perfect moment is like skipping the MRT train because you wanted a seat. So the next train comes, still no seat. But the uncle who squeezed in earlier is already home eating dinner. Okay, now let me show you something very interesting. Charles Schwab did a famous study tracking 5 investors over 20 years, from 2005 to 2024. Each investor received $2,000 at the beginning of every year to invest in the S&P 500. But each person uses a very different strategy. Peter Perfect was the perfect market timer. He had superpowers. He was able to invest his $2,000 into the market every year at the lowest point. After 20 years, he had $186,000. Ashley Action just loves to get things done. Each year, once she received her cash, she invests her $2,000 into the market on the first trading day. She ended up with $170,000, only $15,000 less than Peter Perfect, even though she never timed a single dip. Think about that. Matthew monthly uses dollar cost averaging, splitting his $2,000 into monthly investment throughout the year. He finished with $166,000, almost the same as Ashley. This is what I'm talking about. Consistency wins. Rosie Rotten had the worst timing ever. She invested her $2,000 each year at the market's peak. Surprisingly, she still ended up with $151,000. Why? Because she was invested. Time in the market beats timing the market. Finally, we have Larry Langer. Poor Larry. He kept waiting for the perfect time to invest. Guess how much he has made? $47,000. More than 3 times less than what Rosie Rotten made with terrible timing. Because Larry was never actually invested. His money just sat there doing nothing. This study is for illustration only and only reflects one specific market and time period. Here is my question for you. Which type of investor are you? Tell me in the comments, I read all of them. Now let me share with you what I actually do with my money. And trust me, it changes everything. I used to break my own DCA rule all the time. Why? Because my hands are itchy. Every month when the salary comes in, I will stare at the chart trying to predict if the market is going up or down. If the chart looks like it is going up, I will buy. If it looks like it is going down, I wait. But here's actually what happened. I watched the market climbs for days. Day after day, green candlestick, and every single day it climbs, I feel the pain, knowing that I miss out on the gains. Eventually, I panic and buy anyway, at a higher price than if I had bought just from day one. This is classic FOMO. After trying to be clever for a few years, I finally learned something. For me, the emotional pain of missing out on the gain is way more painful than buying at the top. Here's what I actually do now. I invest a fixed amount of money every month immediately, no holding back. Because getting money invested earlier has historically tended to lead to better long-term outcome, although past performance doesn't guarantee future results. But naturally, there's still some leftover money in my spending account that builds up over time. When it hits over $1,000, I will keep it ready. If the market dips 5% or more, I will throw it in. If not, eventually I'll still dump it in anyway at $2,000 or $3,000 because I'm not letting it rot earning 0.05% interest in a savings account. This is just what works for me personally, not a recommendation. Now, here's a wisdom that really changed my perspective. If your investments are not growing fast enough to meet your financial goals, the solution is not try to time the dip or buy an aggressive ETF like a Nasdaq 100 index. I found it more effective to focus on earning more money and increasing how much you can invest. Think about it, you can spend hours trying to catch a 5% dip. Or you can spend those hours building a side hustle or upskilling for a job promotion that increases your income by 10 to 20%. Which one actually moves the needle more? The results, my portfolio grew faster. I stopped wasting time on market timing and I free up mental space to actually increase my income. That's what actually changes everything. I have set up my investment completely on autopilot using eGiro and Auto Invest. Money gets deducted from my bank account and invested each month automatically. Interactive brokers, Moomoo and Weeboo all have auto investing functions. Links are in the description with sign-up bonuses. They are affiliated links so I earn a commission. But it doesn't cost you anything extra and it helps me keep making free content to help you grow your money. In my next series of videos, I'm going to walk you through the actual step-by-step process, how to start investing using popular brokers apps Singaporeans are using, how to deposit money from your bank, how to convert currency, buy your first ETF, US stocks, SG stocks, how to sell your investment and withdraw money back to your bank account. Hit subscribe so that you don't miss it.